Welcome back to your weekly dose of encouragement on the Unashamedly You podcast. And I hope that you are all having a wonderful start to summer. It's already been a little bit crazy for us here at our house. Camps, youth camps, camp meetings, all the things that are going on, but I absolutely love it. It can be a little chaotic, but it's also so much fun, so many memories that we're able to make. Today, we're going to be talking about some practical ways to keep your family healthy and active during those summer months, some easy, nutritious lunches, getting outside and moving together, and just encouraging you in this season. So, whether you are listening from your car, your kitchen, making a million snacks a day, or the sidelines of your summer activities, I am so glad that you are here. Hello, and welcome to the Unashamedly You podcast, a space to enlighten, encourage, and empower you to go out and unashamedly be who God is calling you to be. I am your host, Jamie Herndon. I pray you hear less of me and more of Him as you listen to today's episode. Let's grow together. We have something so exciting today on the Unashamedly You podcast. We have a guest that we have had with us several times now, and she's a nutritionist. She's also my friend. We've done some events in person, which are always fun. We've got some more events in person coming up. She's incredible. Actually, for her to even be able to hop on here is a huge blessing because she's going from like event to event, from thing to thing, from podcast to podcast. She runs her own podcast. She runs her business. She's very busy. If you are active on social at all, I'm sure you follow her and you know her. You've listened to very many of the episodes. You have heard her as well. And I'm just excited to have her here. We're going to talk about a really fun and good topic today. But Liv Hill, welcome to the Unashamedly You podcast. Again, I'm so excited to have you with me today. And tell us a little bit about you, some things maybe that you have going on, and then we'll get started on today's topic.
Hey, Jamie, thanks for having me. I love being here with your audience. It's so much fun. And yeah, summer is here and it's crazy and it's also a great, great time. So I'm thrilled you text me and said, hey, can we talk about summer? And I was like, beautiful. It's a fantastic episode. So I know everybody's going to get a lot from it. For those of you that are meeting me for the first time, my name is Liv Hill. I am the owner and founder of Liv Hill Nutrition, so a Pentecostal nutrition company. We have 13 coaches getting ready to be 14, helping folks just learn to steward their bodies in practical ways. What am I doing this summer? I really tried to keep the summer light as far as things going on, but no good deed goes unpunished. So traveling a little bit, not too much. I'm going to go to Texas here next weekend for a quick 48-hour turnaround, and we're going to do something there with Edelweiss Bridal, doing a pop-up, so I'm looking forward to that. But really just trying to slow down a little bit and enjoy the summer.
That's fun. I know you, like I said, always got something going. Even if you're not out of town, you're doing something. If you know Liv, she is a get it done type of woman. I'm telling you, if we mentioned anything in front of Liv, you can just rest assured she's getting on it. She's like, okay, Jamie, she keeps me on my toes.
Yeah, let's get it done. Let's go.
Yeah, she's a go, 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 which I love. And we're going to talk about summer. Like she said,
Yeah.
summer's here and it's a fun time, but it is also a super busy time. I feel like that, especially with what you do on the nutrition side, on the staying healthy, staying active, you kind of have to make sure that you're getting all that stuff in because it's a time where you can crash, you can stay indoors. There's summer sicknesses that go around. We don't even think about. I think about all the winter things that keep us down. There's summer things as well. And just keeping our kids active, keeping ourselves healthy. So let's talk about that a little bit. But first, before we dive in, talk about for a second why it is important for kids and for moms to stay active and to spend some time outdoors during those summer months and not just staying inside just because of the heat or whatever else that we, have going on.
Oh, it's such a mood booster to be outside, and so my kids right now are 11 and 14. So as I was thinking about this podcast, I was like, we're going to talk about all, from birth up until 14, because that's really just like a lot of different seasons that we went through. But, during the summer, you really only get, 18 summers with your kids, if if you're lucky, you might get 20 if they stay at home a little bit longer. And so I really, at first, when they got a little bit older, I was like, oh man, summer's here, school is out. Like, how am I going to manage all this? How am I going to navigate this, especially once I became an entrepreneur? And I really had to change my mindset of like summer wasn't something to get through because the kids were out of school and the schedules were different. Anybody that knows me knows that, yes, I am an entrepreneur, but being a mom is my first and foremost job that I take so seriously. And so I was like, found myself saying like, how do I just get through summer? And I really had to talk to the Lord about that and say, you know what, how do I enjoy the summer with my girls? And how do I make the most of the summer that I have with them? And whether you're a stay-at-home mom, an entrepreneur, working, a traditional full-time job, I think that's one of the first things that we have to get in our mindset is, what can I do to enjoy the summer versus what can I do to get through it? And what I mean by get through it is the days can be longer. You can feel like you have to have like such a uh, calendar of things to do, especially in the world of social media where we feel like we have to constantly be doing the most, is first kind of look at things and say, what's going to work for me and my family? And is getting outside, are my kids happier outside when we're doing things? Are they happier when I'm taking them on a walk in the park? Are they happier when and try to find what makes your kids tick, so to speak, when it comes to activities. And you might find that it's not the Disney World things, and I'm not against that, but it might not be the Disney World. It might just be like going down to the library and picking out some books together that makes them tick. So I think really starting out with the foundation of what actually makes my kids happy and what's feasible for me to do. And let's build some of that into summer. And that includes movement and nutrition. And then we'll talk about sleep a little bit too, because that's such an important part.
Sleep. What is that, right?
I know.
In the summer, especially, there's so many things going on. But yeah, we'll definitely have to talk about that. I need some help on that issues and areas. And we say we have 18 summers with our kids, and we hear that so often. And it really does help you kind of put those things in perspective. But as my kids get older, I'm like, where's those last few summers? Like, who says 18? Like, she's gone from youth camps to we're going, camp meeting right after camp meeting. There's another camp to go to. There's all these things, and she wants to hang with her friends and swim with her friends. And I'm like, who said 18? Like 14, 13, 12.
I
Honestly,
know.
we're being really honest with ourselves. So it is making the most of those moments. And if you're a mom with littles, and it can be so hard and so stressful. And then as they get older, you're like, man, I wish they were just with me all day today. They're wanting
Yeah.
to go and do and hang out.
Oh, for
But
sure.
what are some simple ways that moms can get their kids outside every day without feeling like they have to plan elaborate activities? You just said it may not be the Disney World. I love Disney. I don't love it this summer. Matt's forced us to go a couple summer times.
Yeah.
Every time I go, I say, I'm never doing this again.
In December. No.
But what are some things that it doesn't have to be elaborate activities? I think that's a problem with our world right now. Do you like us moms, we think we have to have all these things planned out. My mom never had a ton of stuff planned out. We went outside and played
Yeah.
on our
Yeah.
own with our own imaginations. What
Yeah.
is
We're just
that?
us and our imaginations. I know. Well, and we live at our backyard is really secluded, but I don't feel comfortable with our kids like running around the neighborhood. And so I'm going to kind of talk, if you've got an area where your kids can run around the neighborhood and play, like that's such a gift, to be able to do that. We live in the city, and the front, I'm just kind of, not so comfortable with that. In the back, we've got it fenced in and they can play. But where I'm driving with that is when they're getting outside and doing activities, I think universally kids love water. So don't overcomplicate that. And I'm going to kind of speak to different seasons of life, So when my kids were really little, we would just get a sprinkler and then just like, a slip and slide, which of course these slip and slides are not like the cool slip and slides we had. Those were like the serious ones. But just some water and a slip and slide like that, they would stay out there for hours doing that kind of stuff. And so a sprinkler, if you have a trampoline, put the sprinkler underneath the trampoline. They love those kind of things. Getting popsicles, just a kid in the water and popsicle, I have found that makes kids so happy and so thrilled to be able to do that. So I wouldn't overcomplicate doing activities outside. I mean, you would be surprised. Just like you said, Ada wants to still go swimming. I mean, she's in her teens, but she still loves water. So that's what I'm getting at, is that your kid will love a sprinkler at 2 and they'll still want to go swimming at 14 and 15. So water is universally easy. It's a great thing to do, a great way to get kids outside, and you don't have to, blow the budget. We've done the mini pools where we've had 3 or 4 mini pools and they just kind of hop in between those 3 or 4 mini pools. Um, some other things that I've done when it's been too hot outside and things I would recommend is your local library. So libraries have a ton of activities there where they can sign up for free. So if you don't have a budget, you can go to the local library. Another thing that we did in the past, I was thinking about this morning, is Chick-fil-A is one of the restaurants that still has the indoor play place, right? And so we would go and I would get the girls a Chick-fil-A ice cream. And I remember taking my Bible study and I would sit there and do my Bible study, just do my thing while they played. And they could play for 2 or 3 hours inside Chick-fil-A, and they were thrilled with that. So even if you don't have a budget, that ice cream is $1.50. Or if you, want to be really pure, and here I am a nutritionist, but I'm also speaking life, you can get the fruit cup for them, so you got the options there. But just think of smaller things that they would want to do that you could also maybe be involved with. But even like when I was doing the Bible study and I was sitting in Chick-fil-A and the kids were screaming and I'm over there doing the Bible study, you don't always have to be so hands-on with them. They can play and you can see them, but you want to make sure as a mom you're taking some, you're not just pouring out all day so then you don't have anything else for yourself.
I think that's probably the biggest thing is when your kids are home and there's so much going on, especially whenever you have those littles, you're picking up, picking up. I remember thinking, I mean, by the time Matt got home, I was exhausted
Yeah.
and sick of everybody in my house, including him, because he wasn't there to help me all day.
Yeah. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Real life here. And so by doing that, I'm like, you're just feel like you're running around. Get outside, go somewhere. I remember leaving my house in shambles,
Yeah.
thinking, I need to pick this up. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to literally lose my mind if I
Yeah.
stay here and keep trying to pick this up with 2 little kids and,
Mhm.
throw in a newborn in the mix of life. And then, talking about that sleep thing, you're running on little sleep usually, or
Yeah.
I did. Some people have kids that sleep all night long. That's amazing. God bless you. I don't like you.
Yeah, I did not have that either.
I
My kids
did
did
not
sleep.
sleep all night long. Oh my goodness. Evie sleeps, but she could still run all night long. I mean, she and her dad, they have the same, and I'm like, I have to have some sleep. Y'all have to stop. But by saying that, and I remember just picking up, leaving the house,
Mhm.
taking them, and if you're from around here, our North Little Rock location does not have a play place inside of Chick-fil-A anymore, which was a huge bummer because I use that literally every single week, multiple times a week. But in Little Rock, we do have one. There's some that are around still of those places, especially whenever it's just so hot.
Mhm.
But I remember leaving my house in shambles, getting over there, letting my kids play, me eating a meal, inviting a friend to come, us getting to chat, our kids getting to play
Yeah.
together. It's free. You can stay forever. And when I get home feeling refreshed,
Yes.
clear mind, and being able to pick the house back up and being in a better mood.
Yeah.
So, do something like that, and then also getting your kids outside water, like you said, that's huge. We actually just Ezra turned on the water hose the other day and played basketball, and he and our neighbors, what they were playing together, and then they were, like, shooting each other with water
Yeah.
and, like, doing a hoop, and whoever missed got hit with the water hose, and whoever didn't.
I mean, water is the trick. Water is such the trick. Everybody loves it, and it's just as simple as a hose. And like you were saying, like when we were kids, we just got thrown outside, but I remember us picking up the hose and playing around with the water hose and just keep it simple, but you don't have to run them and do everything. I try to find places. We did a zoo membership one year, and I mean, it was pretty low budget, but we just got a whole zoo membership, but they had a splash pad there. There were several times where we went to the zoo and we did not see one animal. Like I took them straight to that splash pad and let them splash there. So I mean, look at memberships like that, because by the time we would have went twice, that paid for the membership itself. And so we found some things to do outside the house where I didn't have to entertain them. And moms shouldn't feel guilty about not being the entertainer. I mean, you're at home, you're connecting with them at home, you're still taking them to do things. So a lot of times, like you said, just invite a friend that has some kids too. You guys sit there and chat, let the kids run around, get the energy out, and then you do have the drive that you need to go back home, cook dinner, and do those things.
What are your favorite healthy, kid-friendly lunches, quick and easy for those busy summer days? This is something I feel like I struggle with because Ezra's pretty picky.
Yeah.
So I've mentioned this before to anyone that knows him knows this. Nutella pancakes are like his favorite food on earth.
Yeah.
And he could eat them every day. And so I have to watch not allowing him to eat them every single day because I'm sure the Nutella isn't that great for you. I do put just a little bit on there. But I did find Premier Protein pancakes.
Oh, those are good.
Loves those. And they're getting protein and you can get a huge box of them from Sam's or Costco. So it's like I feel better about that than whenever I was just buying the Eggo mini pancakes, you know? I
You
feel
made
like
a
I've done
step
a
up.
healthier choice here, but
Yeah.
give us some ideas because as moms, I think that that's a struggle or it's a struggle for
Mama.
me.
Yeah, it is. You feel like you said earlier, like cleaning up the house, you feel like you just ate, like I just fed you and you want you feel like you are making food the entire summer.
What is it about summer?
I don't know, but it's like,
My kids eat way more in the summer,
oh,
I feel like, for sure. Maybe because they're
absolutely.
with me all day and I'm not used to dealing with lunch. That was at school.
Yeah, you're like, oh wait, I'm clocking in. Okay, so before we get to lunch, I'll say this for breakfast. And so you kind of hit on it that Ezra likes kind of the same thing. If they have something that they like roll with that, let them have it. And I love that swap from like the Eggo to the Premier Protein. Like that's an easy swap. It's more protein in it, which is always good, and he likes it. So what I do is a couple things. Sometimes I'll make just a big casserole on Sundays, like a big breakfast casserole on Sunday, and I'll cut it into squares. And so when they get up in the morning, I'm not having to cook breakfast. I'm like, here's your casserole, warm it up, and then they're good to go. So if you feel like you're constantly making breakfast, that might be something that you want to do. Or have 2 or 3 breakfast options that they can get themselves if they're old enough: smoothies, yogurt bowls, things like that. And you can also really just use that same thing for lunch. So I'll tell my kids like a sandwich is okay for lunch. We don't have to have a big meal. Sometimes I'll make some bento boxes up and just keep them in the refrigerator. So when they are hungry, they can go in there and grab a bento box and eat off of that, which is, think of Starbucks. They've got the fruit, the cheese, the crackers, that kind of thing. I also take, okay, so the old school salad dividers, and it's got like the eight little triangles in it. In the middle, you can put the dip in there. So I bought several of those off of Amazon and I keep them stocked. And so I'll have one that's totally full of fruit. And then I have another one that's full of veggies. And so then when they want a snack, instead of me going in and cutting up fruit and cutting up veggies, I'll just take that tray out and I'll put it on the island and then they can pick what they want out of there. So I try to do as much self-service as possible for some of these meals, like the yogurt squeezy packs or the go-go squeeze juices, like apple sauces, those types of things. So as much as they can just kind of grab and go, we do a whole lot of that in the summer. So that keeps me from cooking 5 meals a day.
That's a super good idea. I love the trays you said. Just fill them up with fruit, fill it up with vegetables because my kids will eat that. It just has to be ready. For some reason, they're not gonna get it out, even if I have it all washed and in the fridge, it's whenever it's cut up and it looks appetizing, then they're ready to get it, but if I just leave it in containers, they never grab it. I
No,
don't know why.
I don't know why. I don't know. But my daughter the other day, I was like, she said, I'm hungry. I said, okay, I'll make you something in a minute. I said, why don't you make this? She said, I'll just wait. Like she would wait me out to eat. Like she's like, I'm not going to do it. But another thing you can do with that fruit, and I'm all about like simple and easy, is today actually I just ordered a frozen mango, frozen pineapple, so a bunch of frozen fruit, frozen blueberries. So then I'll take the tray, the big divider tray out there like on Amazon, and I'll put that frozen fruit in there and then I'll put it in the refrigerator and it'll thaw. So that frozen fruit is already cut up and it's easier on the budget. It doesn't go bad as quick. So I'll just put that in there, let it thaw in the refrigerator, and then it's ready to go. So then it's easy to refill and you're not constantly cutting up fruit every day.
I love that. That's such a good idea. Let me ask you about this. Ham is all over social media
Ham?
about carcinogen.
Oh, I haven't seen that's not in my algorithm. So tell me about it. So that it's just so bad for you because of the
You are kidding me. Why is it in my
oh,
algorithm?
I don't know. Get out of there.
So yes, ham is just terrible right now. I mean, I feel like a bad mom if I even buy ham. Ezra doesn't like turkey.
Oh,
He loves
no.
ham. And so Matt's like, you find the one that's something, I don't even
Low
remember. But
nitrates.
yeah, low nitrates, and you can find that. And it's like pretty much on every ham package that I've ever picked up. And so, but then, the protein, the ham, like he loves just plain ham or a plain ham sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought I was doing really good, and then all this stuff on social media, now I feel like I'm killing him. I'm like, "Oh, Lord, help us."
He's gonna make it. It's the dose, right? So, I mean, there's you could look at every food almost, and say there's something in it, So if you're going to drink a Diet Coke, if you're going to go through a drive-through, if you're going to have Chick-fil-A, any of that has processed ingredients in it. And so ham is pretty much the same way. It kind of goes through these ebbs and flows of it's carcinogenic and can do all of the things to your body. And I'm sure that in a large dose that can happen. But, Ezra's not eating 100 ham sandwiches a day. He's eating a pack a week. So
If we're lucky, we don't have to throw the package away before it
yeah,
goes
yeah.
bad. He doesn't
I
eat
would spend like 0% mental energy on that. Now that's me. I come from a practical approach and a balance and moderation. If you feel like you're not comfortable with that, then definitely don't do it. But the Bible says all things in moderation, right? And so we can just get so strict that we don't have any flexibility, and that's not how we were meant to live. So if you're giving him fruits, vegetables, water, other great things, that's just a small dose in his total daily diet.
Oh, glad I mentioned that. I can breathe easy, buy ham, let him eat it.
Let him eat that. Let that baby eat that ham. He's gonna be okay.
My kids are getting a little bit older, and you did mention this, but how can you involve your children in lunch preparations and, encourage that healthier eating habits? Going to Chick-fil-A every single day is not encouraging healthy eating habits, but that is a really easy thing for me to do. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
want it too. Let's all just go. You know,
Yeah, let's just
it's
go. It's just
really expensive. And my kids are getting older. And so when we're going out each summer, I feel like that I'm spending more and more. Ezra's up to like a 12 count nugget with fruit. He doesn't really like the fries.
yeah.
I'm like, okay, like none of my kids are getting kids' meals.
Yeah. Yeah, like somebody's gonna have to start working here. Um, going back to what I said, a lot of self-service. So especially when they get older. So yogurt bowls. So like Greek yogurt, throw some of that fruit in there, throw some granola in there or whatever they want on the top. Bananas, having that where they can get a banana out and they can do banana and peanut butter. So I do a lot of self-service where they can mix and match and make their own thing. I feel like that goes really well because my kids don't really want like a full lunch. They're not looking for, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like what you said, like at a school lunch, they're like ready. Like my kids take a full, whatever we make for dinner the night before is what they take for lunch the next day. So they might have like pasta. But my kids are not looking for that in the summer to eat a full meal for lunch. But you could also do like cold pasta salads if you do like that. So that's another thing that's like you could put together on Sunday or you could put together on Monday morning. Make a big cold pasta salad, put some of the high protein pasta in there, throw whatever veggies your kids will eat, some dressing on that, keep that in the refrigerator. That'll keep for 2 or 3 days. So then they've got some things that they can grab from, and you're not, again, cooking all of the time. So I like to do easy things like that.
Such a great idea because Evie Joy loves pasta salad. Like that's her favorite thing ever. But yeah, there's some veggies in there, the protein pasta. Great idea.
You could do like chicken salad, like that's another thing that you could do. So you could make like a big thing of chicken salad. So then if you've got your bento boxes, you've got your pasta salad, you've got some chicken salad, that's given them, and then you got some ham for Ezra. You've got, 4 different things that they can choose from. Really a sandwich, truly though, to be honest, a sandwich. So then that's 4 different lunches that they can mix and match from all throughout the week. And really all you've done for the pasta salad is just boils the pasta. That's pretty much all the cooking there is for that, other than cutting up a little bit of vegetables. But when you're cutting up those vegetables, go ahead and fill up your vegetable tray that we talked about, right? So then you're done with that. That's going to take just 30 minutes max. And then when you're making your chicken salad, buy a rotisserie chicken where it's already done for you. Some places have it shredded, then you can make that. And so all of that prep should only take about an hour. And then you've got their lunches ready for the whole week.
Love it. Such great ideas, which is why I have you on the podcast. I said this was going to be good for our listeners, but I really need this for myself. So let's talk about these things and let's just let everyone hear about it.
Yeah.
Summer, it can also mean screen time. We talked about it being really hot in different places. It can be, I mean, it gets hot. We're in Arkansas, muggy,
Yeah.
hot. I don't want to be outside. And then my kids, after 30 minutes to an hour without water, the water helps. They don't want to be out there either. But we need these kids off screens, right? My kids don't really even have screens. If my girls are walking around with their phones too much, I'm like, okay, Evie Joy she just got her little phone because
Yeah.
when you go into the youth group, we just made it to where you can get your phone. And here's why. We had watches so that I can keep up with them,
Mhm.
but watches are on speaker all the time. And sometimes whenever you're in a youth group and I want to know, like, okay, well, what's going on or ask a question and they're on speaker and I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, you can't.
And
Yeah.
so I told Matt whenever Ada was in the youth group and I'm like, okay, I need to ask her some questions. I'm like, okay, I have to get her a phone where I can say, make sure I'm not on speakerphone. Let me talk to you real quick and ask you some questions or
Yeah, let me work through
want to
some
get
stuff.
them in trouble. You don't always want to screw it through their watch, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so we started that. But in this, I'm like, they're really not anything they can even do on them in general. But I'm like, okay, besides text the family, which they're really loving to do, our
Oh,
families
yeah.
love the text. So I'm like, put the phones down and let's play. Let's get off the screens and encourage some outdoor play.
Yeah. The screens are hard. I mean, it's just we all love them. I mean, I'm on mine, obviously, like, it's just hard to get off of them. So we do in the mornings, like before they pick up their phone, I do ask them to read the Bible, do a devotion, things like that. I'm also working. So, I mean, I'm always going to be honest and real, so I'm working full-time entrepreneur. So it's something that I'm trusting them with. Like in the morning, you get your devotion, you get that done. I do try to make it fun for them. So they have colored index cards, and I tell them to write down a verse of what they've read in their devotion today. My oldest daughter is reading a proverb a day. So that's what she's working on for the first time. I think it's just telling them find some other things to do, some craft activities when they get older. So you got to get a little creative, and that's where I'm learning some things right now is how to get creative with them. They get some books, some audio books. We're kind of dipping our toes into that where they can listen to the audio book. They do like that, and I will get them some Hobby Lobby, the little sequins or beads that you put on the sticky board, those kind of things. So it's just trying to find some activities that will keep them busy in the house when it isn't so hot. Um, but it's a challenge to do that. I think you just have to have honest dialogue with your kids about the expectations, and what they're doing with the screens. I think it's just all gotta be about dialogue because if I try to put in for our house, it's between 1 and 3, you just can't constantly do that. So, you have to just really dialogue with them about the importance of learning other things and doing other things in their time.
I love that you mentioned, get creative and get some stuff for them to do, some ideas. So my kids are fine to do things on their own and to go and play. But if I throw an idea out there of something for them to do, they're excited about that, even if
Yeah.
it's cleaning up an area. Uh,
Mhm.
even cleaning something out in the garage and then having a water sprinkler going. And, like I said the other day, Ezra's outside, they're playing a ball game. If you don't get it in, you get shot with the water hose. And, like it's
Yeah.
fun and they're having fun doing that. And they're outside, and it's water. So they're not getting too hot. They're having a good time. Or setting up the sprinkler by the sidewalk, letting them ride their bikes back and forth, and they're riding through the sprinkler every time they come,
Yeah.
you know? So
Oh, yeah.
there's fun things to do. Also, my girls have really enjoyed both of them, and Evie Joy's 11, Ada's 14, and both of them have enjoyed the little watercolor books. I don't know if you've seen
Yeah.
it before. It gives like a little palette of what they should color it. And there's some floral ones, and that's the ones that they really like. So they're painting like different flower things. And they have both painted beautiful photos for me. I have them framed. I love it. And then they're having a great time. They're really enjoying that. Evie Joy's also interested in piano. She loves it. So I'm like, get in your room and practice. So she's going in her room and she's practicing piano, learning something. Ada is studying for her driving test right now, so she's
Oh my
getting a little
goodness.
bit more screen time. I know, but her dad said the next time she goes, has to get it right. She's got to pass it when she takes it. So she's in there studying that. So there are some things that they can do that's getting their minds working, that's getting their minds going, that it's not just strictly screen time 24/7 because it's easy for us.
Oh, yeah.
It's so easy, especially whenever they're younger,
Yeah.
"Oh, here's some screen time," but at the same time, it's not healthy. It's not
No,
good.
it's not. Yeah. I do a lot of reward system too with my kids, like if they like chores and rewards, right? So then at the end of the week they get $25 so they can go do this or that. So if they've done some chores, they get rewarded. The same with their devotion, they're writing down their morning verses every day. If they memorize those by the end of the week, then they get a reward and we can go get something. So it gives them a little more umption to do these things that we have spiritual disciplines and physical disciplines to do as adults, but it starts to develop those disciplines in them when they get that reward for it. So that seems to work out really well for us too, giving them something to work towards in the summer.
I love that you mentioned those devotions, like, that's amazing. Going through that Proverbs a day, just getting the word in, how important is that? That's absolutely amazing. I love that. So you said, like you said, you are a full-time entrepreneur, you're a working mom. And I have worked strictly from my phone before through summers, and I know it is not very easy because you still gotta work,
Yeah, yeah.
I worked from home from my phone, but you still gotta put in the work if you're gonna get paid. So moms that are juggling work, even if it is from home, you're still working. Maybe they've got those younger kids that they're having to do all these things, busy schedules. What are some realistic ways to stay active as a family? Because it's easy to get on your phone and get your screen time in or to sit
Yeah.
down and watch your kids play instead of getting involved, but we kinda need that too.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that's worked for me in the summer, and this kind of ties into sleep, and we'll talk about that next, but with summer, I know that my kids are going to sleep later. And again, they're a little older, so I know that they'll sleep later and they'll probably sleep until, 10 or 10:30. That's about the average time. So I start work really early. So if I can get a lot of my work in, which I do have the flexibility that I don't have to clock in at a certain time, but if I can start working at 7 a.m. and I can get a good bit of my job done from 7 to 10, then that's fantastic because I've gotten almost half of a work day in before they're awake. So I definitely try to get a much earlier start in the summer because I'm not getting anybody ready for the day. So that helps. And then my work, I feel like never stops. I'm doing just a lot of stuff as we're growing and building. It's easy for me to work 60 hours a week, but I will curtail that. So I have like a cutoff time. Like I'm going to cut off maybe from 4 to 6 and I'm not going to work from 4 to 6 or maybe even 4 to 7. But then after they settle down for the night, I'll pick the laptop back up and do some more work at that point. Um, but I think it's again just having some activities in mind and not getting over the top with it. So if my girls like to play volleyball, so it's like getting out in the yard and hitting the volleyball around together. We do have a subdivision that's next to us. So we'll go out and it's like, we don't have to say, well, we're going to walk for 30 minutes every night. Hey, we're just going to take an easy 10-minute stroll around the subdivision. So it's finding things that you enjoy doing as a parent and trying to incorporate that with your kids with the low expectations. You don't have to have the huge, we're all going to the gym together. And if you do that, I've done that. I've taken my kids to CrossFit with me before, and they've played around while I've worked out. So there's nothing against that, but that's our lifestyle. So if just taking a family walk at night is something that you want to do that. If it's playing tag in the yard, badminton, a badminton set from Walmart, they still have those and that's fun. So easy things that you can do. You don't have to change your clothes for. I've played badminton in my work clothes before. You don't have to go full out into workout gear to just have some fun with the family.
Love that. Yes, we try to take a stroll around our neighborhood every day. And last night we were getting home from our walk and it was like 11:06 PM.
Yeah.
But we had a birthday party to go to. The day had been busy and it actually feels a lot better here at night in Arkansas right now. And even in the summer, the nights cool off enough to where you can go out for a walk. And so, you may not be doing that if your kids are way younger, but when we went to the church to pray, like just things had went on later. And when we got home, we all still walked the dog as a family. And, it was late, but it was fine. So saying we still got our walk in. We still, all did something as a family, and I love that because a walk really is also a time to bond. We bond
Mhm.
with our kids so much whenever we're going around that walk. It feels like that especially our girls, Ezra's catching frogs and doing all the things that he wants to do, scaring his sister, scaring his mom. But with that, it feels like my girls they start chit-chatting more, they start talking, they start telling us about things that they had forgotten going on that walk, and so it really helps to bond as well. So, especially if you have older kids, that you're wanting to find out more about their life and things that are going on in life, go for a walk. I've
Yeah.
learned so many times if something's going on in life and I'm wanting to connect a little bit more to my girls, if I just take off for a walk with them,
Yeah.
they end up telling me way more than what they
Oh,
would have if we would have been at home.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I love that, Jamie, because here's the thing is going back to like weaving in some of the other things that we've talked about, like you only have so many more summers with them, right? And so your kids and you, I can already hear in the sound of your voice about the way that you've enjoyed these walks and what you're gathering from these walks. So your kids are going to remember that as a memory. They're going to have that. And so are they going to remember all the extra super fun things that you've done throughout the year? For sure. They're going to remember the Disney trips and they're going to remember the camp meetings. But they're also going to remember, you know what, we used to take these family walks every summer. And so who cares what time it is? If it works for your family and that's a summer memory that you guys are creating, that's the core of what we're trying to talk about on this episode today is that it doesn't have to be grand to move your body, to have some physical activity, to bond with your family. It doesn't have to be opulent. It can be as simple as that. And the time doesn't matter because if the time works for your family, I'm sure that whenever I say I get up at, I start at 6 a.m., some people are like vomiting in a bag, like, how could you, but it's whatever works for you and your family and creates that bond. And I'm not a psychologist by any stretch, but working in nutrition, you do have to have a little bit of that background in there. And there's study after study that shows that kids will open up more at night and when they don't have to look at you. So when you put your kids to bed and the lights are off and you're sitting on the edge of the bed and they start talking, 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 talking and telling you everything, it's because they don't have to look at you and they don't feel like they're on the spot and they've started to come down because it's nighttime. And that's when a lot of kids really reveal things. So, I mean, that's what you're doing on the walk is they're not having to have this eye to eye conversation with you. They're just leisure, moving their body and creating memories with you. And that's the perfect summer.
It really is, and it's the moments that they will, I'm sure, remember those things, but it's for sure what I'll remember.
Yeah.
Like, I love those opportunities, those times, and like you said, that's really what this episode is about. Taking time to make memories, taking time to be healthy, just being intentional is really a lot of what the Unashamedly You podcast is here for, is just a big reminder. Be intentional. Be intentional about
Yes.
getting your kids outside. Make them move their bodies. Let's pay attention to what we eat. Does everything have to be perfect? Does it need to be Pinterest perfect? Absolutely not. It absolutely does not. You do not have to have an Instagram summer.
No, no, I think that's so good. You don't have to have an Instagram summer. You have to have a memorable summer that works for you and works for your family. So I love that. I think that is picture perfect as far as what works for you guys and what's going to be memorable.
What are some simple routines that help create a little bit of structure during summer while still allowing that fun and flexibility? Because structure kinda goes out the window here for us, and I absolutely love it. That's my favorite thing ever is, like, I don't have to feel like we have to eat dinner at this time, we have to be at the church by this time, we have to get home by this time, and I feel that so much through the school. And I'm telling you, when May hits, I'm like and that's what I look forward to from January on is I'm like, I cannot wait until I do not have to worry about all these things. We can just live our lives. And last night, we're walking around at 11 p.m. Some people are like, oh my word, I can't believe you're out that late.
Yeah.
It works for us. My kids are all still asleep right now. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, it works. This is what I say about structure because it's a lot different when you have little kids, and littlers because it's like that. If you don't have the structure when they're little, you do get crazy. Like you start to lose your mind. It all starts with us as parents. We have to have some type of structure. So, if you are just self-audit. But if you yourself are rolling out of bed when your kids roll out of bed, I think that's one of the worst things that a mom can do. Not worse, like morally worse, but
1000%.
yeah.
I am. If my kids are up before me,
Oh
and
my
if
God.
they're up before I have my hot coffee all by myself in my prayer
Mhm.
time
Yeah.
and just,
It's a bad day.
slowly walking around my house to get stuff done, if they're up, I'm like, it just
It's a
it
bad day.
brings things. I love that alone time.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's something special to me. I love it, and I agree.
Yeah. So start with yourself and do just a self audit. Now, you might not have, whatever time works for you as far as getting up earlier, but you've got to have a routine and structure yourself in place. So I always say, like, it's not a surprise when your kids are going to wake up for the most part. Like, when they're going to wake up. So even if you don't have structure in the summer and they're waking up at, littles are waking up at 8:30 instead of 7:30, give yourself that 30 minutes, hour time for yourself. Get up, brush your teeth, maybe put some clothes on or at least brush your hair out, like get yourself together, talk to Jesus for sure. And then that way you're set and you're going to be more proactive than reactive. I think that's really the biggest thing that you can do to set up that structure is when you wake up, when your kids are waking up, or if they're rolling in your bed and opening up their eyes, and we've all done that, they've come in there and opened up your eyes, you're so far behind for the day. And so then you're just trying to catch up and you're just clocking into mom duty immediately. So find a structure for yourself and then work that in with your kids. And, I really just try to bookend it. Like, what time do they wake up and do I need to wake up? And then at the other end, the bedtime. And the bedtime can be 8 o'clock for younger kids, 11 o'clock for older kids, whatever works for you. But know that these are kind of the bookend times. This is when we're going to start our day. This is when we're going to end our day. Last night, we were actually watching TV as a family, and another episode came on, and it was 11 o'clock for us. And I wanted to watch another episode so bad because we were all having good girl time and watching it. And I was like, we got to turn it off. We have to turn it off. Um, so just try to bookend your day. I think that would make the biggest difference when you're trying to find your structure.
And every day is different. So we have camp meeting coming up,
Yeah.
and that's going to be, all this next week. And I know that we're going to have late nights.
Yeah.
There's no doubt we're getting very little sleep coming up. these,
Yeah. Very little.
these next 5 days is very little sleep. So, and I know that for my kids as well, especially for my girls. And so, and Ezra too, he's going to be up way later than normal, but not as late as probably what Ada is. Ada will get to be up the latest because her friends will want to, they usually go back to the church and get to hang out for a little bit. And I want her to have that time. I had that time.
Yeah.
It carried me through. I made friendships that lasted for a lifetime. Like my husband and I have always talked about. That's what we grew up on. And I'm not taking that from her, to say,
Yeah.
no, it's this time you've got to be home. No, you hang out as long as it's with the right people and you are doing the right thing. I'm all about it. Some parents are different. That's fine, but that's us. And so it works for our family. It worked for me. It's what carried me through in some really hard times was the fact that I got to do those things. The best memories of my life. So I want those for my kid, but she's going to be staying up all night long, right?
Yeah.
They like to stay up until it's time to go get donuts, and then they decide to eat donuts and then go to bed.
Yes. Yes.
On a full sugared stomach. But saying that, I told her this week we're going to prepare for that. So we're
Mm-hmm.
having more one-on-one family time because we know it's going to be crazy, and I'm not going to hardly, Matt and I aren't really going to see each other. We're not really going to see our kids
Yeah.
except for, we might be standing next to each other at church, but it's crazy. And we know that's coming. And so I'm preparing for that this week. And then, we're getting our house in order. I told them, starting tonight, we're going to start going to bed earlier so you can get some extra sleep, get caught up on some extra sleep, drink some extra water, making sure that
Yeah.
they're staying hydrated, all those things. Because that's all coming up and I don't want everybody to be sick either.
Right. No, so
But
true.
like you said, bookending your day. And then also maybe planning ahead. We know that's coming. I'm not going to be surprised by what's going on next week.
Yeah.
But that doesn't stress me out because I'm getting prepared for it this week. We're preparing our clothes already. We're getting everything prepared and those things going on. I know we're talking a lot about outside, but this is really summer.
Yeah. It's
This
summer
is
and
a
it goes
summer
so quick.
podcast and saying, if you've got an event coming up and you know that your kids are going to need 5 outfits, get those 5 outfits ready. Ezra's
Yeah.
suits have all been to the cleaners. They're all ready to go. I don't have to worry about ironing them. I told Matt, I said, you need to get his ties picked out and get them around that suit hanger. I don't, that's something I'm not going to be able to think about next week. I'm too busy, but
Yeah.
it cuts out so much of my stress.
Mhm. And your kids can feel that stress, and so when you're working on those things, and let's talk about sleep for a minute because so many kids are sleep deprived. So many adults are sleep deprived. I'm a big fan of letting my kids sleep in the summer because we go a mile a minute. The week that school starts back, volleyball starts back. So we're game on immediately. So I let my kids sleep during the summer. If your kid is between 6 and 12, they need 9 to 12 hours of sleep. So you're not, raising lazy children if they sleep 9 to 12 hours and they're 6 to 12 years old. Like that's that's where they should be. Our teenagers need 8 to 10 hours of sleep. So they need that sleep and that helps their brain function. It helps their mood. So if you're wondering why is my kid so moody, start with some of their sleep and how much they're sleeping. We do want them to enjoy camps. Jada's going to her first set of away camps this year. So that's a little bit different for us, but I am in that same camp let's prepare for that. Let's prepare, like you said, with all the physical things, making sure that everything is ready so we're not running around like crazy. But then also, let's get some sleep before you go. We're not going to run the roads a couple of days before you go. And then when you get back, I'm going to plan on you sleeping and we're not going to run the roads for a couple of days whenever you get back from camp. And that way they can recoup and still have fun because, like you said, we're not going to take that away from them. You don't want to be rushing them to get in bed. But as a parent, if you're stressed out and you're running around like crazy, your kids are going to pick up on that. They're going to start being stressed out. But also, I feel really passionate about this because your nervous system and the way that you handle things impacts your weight. It impacts your hormones. It impacts your mood. So a lot of things that women deal with is because of stress. And you could almost write it on my grave that busyness is not a badge of honor at all. I cannot stand when people walk around and they tout how busy they are, but then they also talk about how exhausted they are. We have choices on the way that we do things. And God never meant for us to be so extremely busy. I mean, he had multitudes following him and then took time away to rest. And we need to make sure that we're resting. We need to make sure that our kids are resting. So that is a big part of summer is finding that balance between let's go and have some fun, but then also working in enough rest so that they can fully recharge. Such a big deal for them.
It really is. And like you said, our kids can feel that stress. If you're constantly stressed out, you're constantly in a bad mood, maybe your hormones are off, maybe your food's off, maybe your sleep's off.
Yeah.
Mama take care of you.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do, you know? I mean, that's talking about getting up before our kids. It's easy for me now because I've got 7, 11, and 14.
Yeah.
It was hard whenever Ezra was a newborn. Evie was 4, Ada was 7. I'm up all night long with the newborn, and then I've got these, 4 and 7-year-olds, and they're wanting to do things, and it's a lot. It's hard. That was a hard season.
Yep. I
I
remember.
had 3 kids and no more. And so hats off to all of you moms that are in that season. It's still important that your kids have memories and have fun and that you are having memories. That's probably my hardest part.
Yeah.
Is I look at some things, I'm like, all I remember is that I was tired.
I was tired. I know.
I hope my kids remember something better and more
Yeah.
fun. And I look back at photos and I'm like, we did have a life. We
Yeah.
were having good times and it was fun. And, like looking through the things that we did, like all I remember is how tired I was. I can't remember anything else. But hopefully I
Yeah.
will, that they remember these photos that we actually have. I'm like, when did we do this? Where were we at?
What happened? Yeah, that's where you have to have grace and you have to just be realistic and start small. So again, if it's not feasible for you to get up an hour before your kids, give yourself 10 minutes, grab a quick shower, talk to the Lord, get some, water and coffee. And, you don't have to have an hour. If you're in a season where you get 10 minutes, get 10 minutes. But then use some of these other practical tools that we've talked about to make things easy. If you find that you're making 6 and 7 meals a day and that's wearing you out because we've all been there, how can you pare that back? How can you scale that back some? If you're trying to take them to every mom group and every activity that you're hands on and you're doing the finger painting with them, ask yourself, can I scale that back to just going to the library and sitting there while they, play with some of the library toys? Try to find pockets that you can scale back on. One thing that I remember, I'll never forget this. We went to visit an elderly lady at our church, and she was sick, and my girls were real little. I think they were 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 3 and 7. And so I'm like, just please be good at her house. Like, she's sick, like, but we need to go visit her. And the whole time I'm like, please be, sweet children, please don't tear it apart, be decent. And I told him, I said, if we go to Sister Wanda's house and you guys be sweet, be good, I'll take you to get like an amazing treat afterwards. And they were so excited. They were like, okay, okay. And they did fantastic. And what I took them for a reward is I took them down to a convenience store. And the ice cream freezers, you slide it open and they can pick whatever they want. Jamie, I'm not kidding you. I was like, okay, here we go. And I went in there and I took them and I opened the freezer and I said, you can have anything that you want in here. It took them like 10 minutes to decide. They could not decide what they wanted. They were so excited. They got to make a choice. They kept opening and closing, the sliding doors. They just thought it was the neatest thing. But that got the job done. And that was something easy. I didn't have to take them on this big excursion. And then when my husband got home from work, they were like, they call him Poppy. They were like, Pop, you're not going to believe what we got ice cream. And they were so excited about that. So that's just little ways of things that I've truly done, not these, made up pie in the sky ideas. These are things that worked for us, and they still remember that time that they got that. If we go to somewhere now and they see it, they're like, oh, let's get us something here. We remember when. And so it's the little things that make a big difference.
Saying that reminded me of my grandfather used to take all of us grandkids when we would stay the night. The very next day, we always got to go to the Dollar General. It was right down the street from their house. And he would give us all a certain amount of money. So he'd pass out a $5 bill to all the kids, or sometimes we'd get $10. And he would tell us, don't forget the tax, even though we knew he'd be standing at the register and have to give a little bit more for the tax because we never saved enough for the tax. But we'd take that $5 and we could be in the Dollar General for hours.
Yeah.
Literally for hours, which I know $5 and $10 went way further in the Dollar General then than it probably goes now. Even just going to the Dollar Tree, giving them $5. Anytime that I ever do that with my kids, it takes them forever to pick out what they want. It's trap junk. Ezra wants to go down every aisle, touch every toy. He picks several things up. He puts them back. He gets it again. Then he goes back to that. I mean, we could be in there forever. They're in there looking, they're shopping, they've got their own money. It doesn't take a lot, but I can remember my sister always spent every dime on candy. She would get one of those little baskets that you put over your arm, and there were 10 pieces for $1. I don't know if she did it. She loved candy, but also I don't know if she did it because she was getting 10 things for every.
Oh yeah, she was like maxing it out.
She was, yes. And she would get her 10 things for $1, and she would just fill her basket up full of candy every single time. That's what she was going to get. Would take her forever to pick it out. And then I'm over there, looking, deciding, do I want to spend it all on one thing or do I want two things or, and it's just, those are some of my best childhood memories.
Exactly.
With my grandfather. He did it every time we were with him. We never got tired of it. We looked forward to it. It was so much fun. It wasn't expensive for him. And it took a couple of hours for all of us to get whatever we wanted. As we got older, he could even sit in the van and wait on us, until we got to the register, and then he'd need to come in because he knew he was going to have to give another $1 or $2 for tax.
I love it.
But it was so much fun. And like you said, it doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be, but you can get out of the house. You can do some things. Go and do some stuff with your kids. If you've never given them a $5 bill, a $10 bill, and took them to the Dollar Tree or Five Below, I encourage you to do it. My kids absolutely love it.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
What is some encouragement that you would give to a mom that is wanting to make some healthier choices, have that memorable summer with their kids? Maybe they're feeling overwhelmed by pressure, to do it all, or maybe they have not been making healthy choices. Some things are just easier to do than make all the healthy choices, but they're wanting to lean that direction. Give them some encouragement.
Yeah. My favorite thing is start small. Start with the smallest thing. So what's bothering you the most? Is it that you're not getting any activity in? Then put on a, YouTube video and do a 15-minute walk inside your house. If you have an island, do a prayer walk. Start your day with protein. Start your day with coffee, with water. Start small with just one small change that you want to make for yourself. So on your own personal health journey, if there's something that you want to change that's bothering you, start really small and then build from there. And we want to always start with being the most. But if you can't hold that out, then you'll find that if you start small, you'll get there. Just like my daughter reading one proverb a day. She didn't say, I'm going to read, the entire Bible this summer. I'm going to read all the Gospels this summer. When she asked me what she should do, I said, why don't we start with a proverb a day and you'll read the book of Proverbs, in a month. And to her, that was like, this is an amazing thing that I can actually accomplish and do. So the same thing with you and your health journey. If there's something that you want to change, start small and say, every day for the entire summer, I want to try to walk a mile a day. Or every day for the entire summer, I want to try to drink 80 ounces of water a day. Set a goal for yourself and stick with it. And then you'll find that you can add another goal once you become consistent with that one. So I would start there. And then for your kids and just having fun, I think it's realizing that what works for you and your family works for you and your family. So what works for me might not work for Jamie and vice versa, but we have to find what works for your family and find joy in that and say, you know what, this works for us. At the end of the day, we're going on a family walk at 11 o'clock at night and we're all happy. That was Jamie's night last night. For us, we were all sitting around watching a TV show together that we enjoyed, and the girls were braiding each other's hair and braiding my hair. And we were happy and we were having a good time. Whatever brings your family together in the summer and makes some memories, that's the right path. That's what you want to do so that you can look back and say, you know what? Last night when I went to bed, I was like, I felt really full and satisfied in my heart. And I'm sure you did too. And so it's just finding what fills your cup as a family and leaning into that. And and if you don't know what that is, I don't feel like we ever get family time. I don't feel like I know what fills my cup. Then ask the Lord. Ask the Lord to reveal it to you, and He will. He'll show you. And just keep your expectations to a place that's manageable.
I love that you mentioned, what fills your cup, what makes you feel full. And, that's not going to be the same for every one of your kids. It's not going to be the same for you and your spouse. It's not always going to be the same, but whatever fills your cup, do that. So, Ada, there's certain things that make her so happy.
Yeah.
And she loves to do those things. And she and her dad, he had to go look at some land for work. And he took just Ada with him for the day. They had the best time because he went and done all these things that he knows she enjoys. And the things that they enjoy together, they went and done those things. It was from coffee shop to coffee shop, trying different matchas and different coffees, and they loved it. They loved different drinks, and they loved getting to do those things, and she come home, and she's like, "I had the best time with dad."
Love
They
that.
went to a cool restaurant because that makes her tick. She loves, the
Yeah.
cool things that are going on, picture perfect moments of, where you can take the photos inside the place.
Oh, yeah.
She loves that right now. She's 14. And we can say, "Oh, that's no big deal. I'm so sure, that's not really that cool." It's cool to her. It's what she enjoys, and she filled her cup, and she had the best day ever just doing those things. So, finding what works for your kids. Evelyn loves to read. She
Mm-hmm.
absolutely loves to read books. And so going to the library and letting her get whatever book that she wants. When we go to Target, that's where she wants to go. She wants to
Yeah.
go there and see what the new book is for the series that she's been reading, and letting her pick that book out. So finding those things that brings joy to you, brings joy to your kids, go do more of that.
Yeah.
Do more of those things. And so I love that we're talking about just be intentional and fill your cup full of joy. You don't have forever. And
No.
that's the unfortunate thing. We say we have 18 summers. Not everyone gets 18 summers.
No.
And
That's true.
that is not a fun reality. But we don't always know what tomorrow holds. Make sure that today you're filling your cup. You're not going to wait until your kids are older to be able to do some things. You don't, I've heard moms say, well, I'm going to wait and then I'll get time for myself, and then I'll get time for, this kid or that kid, or then I'll get time to do this. We don't know what tomorrow holds. Pay attention to today. Pay attention to today. It matters. Today matters, and live every day like it matters. I love this episode with you. I knew that I would. I knew you would give us some good tips some good help. Give us one last thing that you would want to leave with all of us in the Unashamedly You community today.
Oh my goodness. One thing is you're doing a good job. If nobody has told you, Mom, you're doing a really, really good job. Your kids are happy, they're smiling, they love you, they hug you, they give you a kiss. Like you are doing a good, good job. And if you feel like you aren't, turn your phone off and dial in with them a little bit more. And I'll also say that, you know what, because it's the Liv Hill way, is Mom, you can do hard things. You know, you're not weak. God's given us strong. He's given us power. He's given us authority. You can do some hard things. Now, that doesn't mean live in misery, but sometimes we can do these hard things that we really want to achieve. Don't let the enemy talk you out of it. Don't let the enemy tell you that you can't do and achieve the things that you want to do and achieve. You can be a mom and an entrepreneur. You can be a stay-at-home mom and crush that game. But God has a calling on your life. And if you feel far from that calling, tune into Him and say, God, give me a refreshed and a renewed spirit on the calling that you have for me, and walk in boldness in that. Because even in the midst of raising kids, God has a job for you to do and a calling for you to do. And I'm always going to push you and encourage you to go after that with as much vigor and moxie as you can.
What an encouraging word that you left all of us with today. Liv, thank you so much for being on the podcast, for sharing some good, easy tips and some amazing encouragement that you always give. You're inspiring, and we're glad to have you on the podcast. I hope that all of you listening take these tips and that it helps you have a more memorable summer with your babies, and take care of yourself as well. We love all of you. Thank you for being on.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to another episode on the Unashamedly You podcast. Like we've already said, summer can be a little chaotic and so many things going on, but you spending time with us and taking time out of your day to listen to this podcast means so much. If you would, leave us a review over on Apple or Spotify, share it to social media, tag us, and go tell your friends so they can be encouraged too. Thank you for listening, and go be unashamedly you.